For almost 40 years, Tom Silva has been the unifying factor in this old house. I'm prepared to work, I've rolled up my sleeves and put on my tool belt. At the age of 77, however, he finally discussed the portions of the show that most people had never seen. He nearly quit the show because of some aspects of it. Additionally, don't assume it's just another retirement hint. To catch the media's attention, Tom did more than simply tell them what he'd done. It was a memorial to all the hardships he has endured, both on the construction site and off-site, where life hasn't always been as lovely as the remodeled houses we've watched him construct. Tom was on the verge of leaving long ago. Not because he was done or exhausted. Absolutely not. The show's artistic direction had become disconnected from the realities of the job site, the production schedule, the frequent camera angle adjustments, and the pressure to make things appear nice rather than be excellent. It was all contrary to his beliefs. So he wrote a letter of retirement in secret. It was so real that he discussed with his family what would happen after this old house. What changed? He never submitted it. The show listened. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was, he didn't get upset or expect attention. Because he wanted to, they allowed him to construct things correctly. From being only an employee, Tom now had significant influence over the operation of the show. It was a powerful voice. However, workplace politics were not the only source of issues. 2018 was a significant loss for the show. On the route to a shoot, Tom unexpectedly lost Austin Wilson, a young crew member he had personally trained and hired. For his squad, Tom felt more than simply a loss. They were the focus. Austin was not merely a colleague. He was like family. Tom considered completely withdrawing since the sadness was so great. However, with assistance from Austin's family and the crew, he returned after a while. He continued because he believed he owed it to the team, the supporters, and perhaps even to himself, not because he had to. Tom's strong sense of duty has always made him unique. Building for the camera is not his style. He enjoys building things, therefore he does it. People trust him because he is sincere and committed to performing a good job. When the producers attempted to bring in younger, more flamboyant faces, the squad and the fans retaliated. The individual who showed them how to measure for a new window and install panels was someone they didn't want to lose. They were looking for someone who never sought attention and was always present. As time passed, Tom took on even more behind-the-scenes work. In addition to swinging a hammer, he was assisting in project selection, establishing professional standards, and imparting knowledge to the next generation. Charlie Silva, his nephew, went on the show in this way. He was not given a part by Tom. He gave him modest assignments to complete initially to ensure he was prepared. Tom is a calm person who always acts with skill and trust. Even at the age of 77, he continues to walk job sites while wearing boots to inspect the frame and ensure that the work meets the standards he has always held himself to. He's not trying to attract attention. For him, this is not a farewell journey. It's vital, so he's doing it. Because the work remains significant. In a world full of shortcuts and easy fixes, that level of dedication is extremely difficult to find. Tom Silva is now more than simply the hammer-wielding man you see on television. For years, he has been the driving force behind all of this old house's major renovations. When we say major, we mean initiatives that involve the kind of behind-the-scenes juggling that would send most people straight to retirement, make decisions regarding structure, and need to be planned out at the highest level. Tom was responsible for selecting the appropriate personnel, selecting the appropriate supplies, and ensuring that everything functions well on TV so that nothing breaks during a shot. Everyone on the team is aware of who is in control, despite the fact that his title isn't very clear. The man in the plaid shirt is holding a tape measure in one hand and a game plan in the other. From Bob Vila to Steve Thomas to Kevin O'Connor, Tom has been the only host who has remained constant over the years. He doesn't corrode and keeps turning up, like your favorite old tool that still functions. He started out as a contractor but eventually became the person who ensured everything remained together, both physically and professionally. When Norm Abrams departed in 2022, it became evident that Tom was more than just a team member, he was the squad's unifying factor. It was not just about keeping him on. He was asked to assist in forming the projects, planning the season, and monitoring the builds. The reason for this is that after a lengthy period of doing something correctly, people give up and say, "Okay, you're in charge." If you watched a season between 2021 and 2025, it's likely that Tom had some role in it. Not just in the woodworking, but also in project planning, safety setup, and even ensuring that the crew's equipment could withstand sawdust and HD cameras. Additionally, Tom was one of the few individuals on set who had the ability to select his own substitute, something that most others couldn't do. Of course, he didn't make that decision in a week. Absolutely not. He tested the water first, like he always does. Charlie Silva, his nephew, began with less significant assignments and slower, smaller initiatives. Tom gradually gave him responsibility for construction when he shone his abilities. Silva's style was neither ostentatious nor family-oriented. Rather, he was respected. But Tom did more than that. He has also been asked for assistance by others like Heath with electrical work, Jen with gardening, and Marora with finishing. Tom has probably checked it twice to see if it requires a second coat, plugs in, or develops roots. Since 2020, he has taken on even more, assisting in the training of the upcoming generation of skilled workers through his work with Generation Next of This Old House and local trade schools. Even while he participates in forums and advice boards, he still finds time to show children tools that they aren't quite aware of the differences between. It's absurd that Tom remained in a world where cast members are replaced like socks. He was dependable, intelligent, and in high demand. According to PBS polls, he is among the network's most popular personalities, particularly with viewers who have been watching before disco was hip. But it's more than simply nostalgia that draws him in. He is patient, knowledgeable, and able to explain complex projects without coming across as boastful. It is a skill unto itself. Before becoming the face of workmanship on national television, Tom Silva and his brother were just two men with a toolbox, high standards, and no tolerance for taking subpar shortcuts. Making fast changes or adopting fads didn't make Silva brothers' construction famous. They earned their reputation by being powerful, level, and well-organized. Finally, some well-known companies took notice of their excellent work, including WGBH-TV, which contracted them to construct the set for the Victory Garden. Yes, exactly. While other workers were repairing decks, Tom was laying the foundation for what would turn out to be one of the longest careers in instructional television. As it happened, that position was more than a job. It was through it that director Bruce Morrish learned about Tom. Tom joined the team as a laborer to help renovate a Greek revival house in Dorchester, Massachusetts, before he could inquire, "Where's my level?" He was requested to assist with a new project named This Old House. However, it was quickly apparent that this was more than just a man with a hammer. He had a unique ability to make difficult problems seem simple and difficult solutions seem doable. He was formally brought on as a full-time cast member in 1988. Nobody has even considered taking his place since. In a world that is always changing, Tom remained the same after 40 years. The technology behind the tools changed, hosts came and left, and hairlines became smaller. However, Tom was always there, handling every challenging task with his typical cool head and sense of priorities. Hundreds of fixes he worked on were featured on PBS. He was not only building houses, from modest colonial houses to massive historic restorations, he was preserving customs one beam at a time. He will never forget a duty he completed at Weathered Farm in Westwood in the late 1990s. Imagine an ancient wooden house with a sloping roof that seems ready to collapse with a great sigh. Without sacrificing the building's historic appeal, Tom and his team had to figure out how to make it stronger. It was similar to performing surgery on a patient's bones while ensuring that they appeared runway ready. Naturally, he did it since, when everyone else is panicking, Tom reaches for his pencil and begins sketching solutions. However, his influence extends well beyond the workplace. Tom has also spent years using the knowledge he has acquired to create useful products. He frequently writes for This Old House magazine and responds to inquiries from people who have likely done too much drywall. Fortunately, his advice is free of jargon and is plain and helpful. Like his building style, his writing is strong, clear, and full of just the proper amount of "you've got this" encouragement. Even schools use some of his work. Trade schools around New England employ his methods, strategies, and detailed instructions as teaching aids. This is the proper way to install crown molding, if that's what Tom says. In 2004, he co-wrote the Homeowner's Manual and Complete Remodeling. Alongside the coffee-stained blueprints and the bag of screws they swear to arrange one day, these are the books that every devoted do-it-yourselfer proudly displays on their shelf. Tom Silva didn't instantly become well-known after arriving on set. He was worthy. One job, one column at a time, one tough conversation during a production meeting. He didn't take any shortcuts and put a lot of effort into his task. He used talent and perseverance to build his business brick by brick. At the age of 77, he continues to work. Because he wants to be, not because he must, he is. He hasn't announced his retirement or made a significant departure. He is simply doing what he enjoys, which is boosting the confidence of others. It's likely that some younger men are perplexed by the fact that he still gets around them. To be honest, you could have assumed that Tom Silva was going to retire from his position. Avoid thinking. Earlier this year, Silva essentially stated, "No, I'm still in." He also pledged to return for several seasons in an interview with Internal Production. Yes, those massive rehabilitation projects in Ridgewood and Westford are still underway. He fixes people's goals and aspirations, not just houses. Rest assured, things will improve. Behind the scenes at Silva Brothers Construction, he's been making things happen, even though on TV he swings tools and dumps knowledge like it's drywall. In 2022 and 2024, he made strategic decisions for the business, despite handing up management to his nephew Charlie. Charlie is most likely still reviewing everything one more time before presenting it to Tom. Tom might have taken a vacation from his usual schedule. Don't be misled, though, he still attends strategy meetings, decides on high-stakes, top-secret initiatives, and selects technical teams as if he were casting a heist film. Charlie, don't rush things. Did you think he had ceased phoning influential people? When it comes to allocating resources, upgrading tools, or deciding whether to purchase that brand new excavator, guess whose opinion still counts? Tom's. He can continue doing the wonderful things he enjoys without having to deal with a lot of paperwork or expenses because he is a senior assistant, which translates to wise builder wizard. It is a win-win scenario. In addition, he is establishing the business in addition to the dwellings. In Massachusetts, a lot of trade groups turn to Tom for assistance. When the Northeast Regional Council for Building and Remodeling needs to improve training or boost safety standards, why do you believe they call you? The movie isn't Ghostbusters. They converse with Silva. The individual contributed to the creation of a technology database for independent contractors. Silva probably wrote the directions for your nail gun if you own one in Massachusetts. And guess what? Among the modifications made to Boston's building regulations following COVID, Tom was involved in making those as well. He isn't just keeping up, he is genuinely altering the rules. At 77, how does he manage to achieve all of this? 2 words: chaos that has been prepared. Alright, let's include 3 more: coffee, experience, and knowledge. Tom works a combination of engineering, mentoring, consulting, and manufacturing. The scene is fantastic. The program combines elements of a leadership course, a think tank, and a home renovation show. He has essentially found out how veterans can continue to serve without becoming exhausted. And who was the magician? Tom has always been a quite reserved individual. There were no eye-opening headlines or lavish red carpets. It was just him and his 37-year married wife, Susan, and their comfortable suburban Boston home from the 19th century. It feels so right. While some strive for fame, Tom has been quietly creating something more solid, a tradition with deep roots. Is Tom Silva going more slowly now? Yes, if you believe that walking between jobs slows you down. There are still plans in the man's mind and sawdust in his blood. There is no other way that we would have it. There is more to Tom Silva's home than just his residence. It requires a great deal of affection. It has been meticulously restored by him and his family over the years, creating a kind of understated elegance. Check out this Old House magazine for more examples of this type of home. Not because it is ostentatious, but rather because it is intelligent, thoughtful, and lovingly constructed. TJ and Kate are his 2 children. They have gone their own way, despite your expectation that they would adopt his tool-belted methods. They are not in the construction or television industries, but they are there to aid the family business when it needs it, particularly with money or media. It turns out that Tom's home reflects his work style quite a bit, always build with a goal in mind, retain what's important, and improve what makes sense. For that reason, the Massachusetts Council on Historic Preservation invited him to speak at a conference on historic rehabilitation. He described how he remodeled his own house, emphasizing eco-friendliness, maintaining the property's original design, and optimizing the use of available space. It was more than a simple makeover. It was a wise new beginning. The work was so excellent that it is now documented in the state's architectural files as a superb illustration of well-executed non-commercial repair. However, Tom is not interested in becoming the center of attention. He is well known for keeping his private life private and concentrating on his work on craftsmanship and education. His team has a rule that has been in place since 2005, let's keep it about the work, not about me. This is one of the reasons that his team members hold him in such high regard. He has no desire to be well known. His only goals are to conduct nice deeds and assist others in doing the same. Behind the scenes, Tom is also discreetly working on a very significant project. He works for an organization that helps young people find employment, particularly those from low-income households. Although he doesn't discuss it much on social media or in interviews, his name appears in their annual reports as a qualified advisor. In reality, what does he do? A bit of everything. They go over training programs with them, assist them in determining what equipment they need, and occasionally even physically visit them to demonstrate procedures. In the corporate world, Tom is renowned for more than simply his skill as a builder. He tells the truth, leads by example, and assists others. His guidelines are being followed today to help people develop in a responsible, safe, and effective manner. That is the unique quality of Tom Silva. He does more than just construct houses. He assists people in creating their life in a calm, steady, and truthful manner. Upon reflection, it's very awesome. Tom Silva's work is currently taught in a few technical high schools throughout Massachusetts. People trust his work so much that they utilize his projects as models when they teach kids how to build by showing them video from This Old House. It ought to be suitable for both the classroom and television. And that's what distinguishes Tom. He has never made an effort to gain notoriety. He doesn't produce advertisements for power tools or hang around at upscale house shows. He is not pursuing any business ventures or attempts to establish his identity as a brand. The option is there. He has always refused to listen to the noise in order to concentrate on the work and the people who do it. Nowadays, that doesn't happen very often, does it? Tom Silva is still building homes, training people, and doing what he does best in an era when everyone wants to gain popularity or a following. You don't need to be loud to be heard, as this guy demonstrates. He is admired for his honesty and quietness in addition to being respected. He is the kind of person who consistently shows up and completes tasks effectively. He has been doing that for a long time. Tradespeople notice more than just a skilled builder when they see Tom. Someone there exemplifies what it is to take pride in your work. Someone who understands that the motivation behind your actions is just as crucial as the method. While trends change, Tom Silva endures. In a world when shortcuts are the norm, he is a reliable presence, a true craftsman, and, to be honest, a reminder that doing things the right way still matters. Just consider how pleasant it is to smell sawdust, hear a hammer strike the perfect nail, or feel good about a job well done to see why people like Tom deserve praise. You should tell this story to someone who understands the value of excellent people and good work. Remember to click the subscribe button, because sometimes the most enduring impressions are left by the quiet ones.